This is what we got with VeChain overall. You've been seeing VeChain making those higher lows in terms of closing prices again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and right now it's getting rejected, and it looks like it did actually close below this region over here. So you can see how on the 4 hour, somewhere close to the 20 cent region was the we're expected to continue to go up, but it looked like it didn't really have enough steam. Right now it got rejected off the 21.3 cent, went all the way back down, and actually closed for the first time ever below the previous low we had. So we're starting to form some sort of we're breaking this pattern to the bottom, right? And the whole market is negative. We're seeing that. Where would VeChain go if this thing does not hold? First stop right away is these previous lows we had. So that's how you should always keep in mind. So once we're here, we got a nice support at the 18.4 cent, and that's for the people that would also like to DCA into this and see what works for them, or try to buy some of those dips, right? So 16.8 cents as well, also all the way down here at the 15.76 cent region. And if you're looking at the VPVR itself to see those zones that everybody's looking at, because it doesn't matter what you think of the chart, it's what the people say and the volume tell us, right? Right now you can see those peaks and valleys in terms of the chart itself. You'll see here we're currently sitting at the 19, so somewhere close to here, 19.65, somewhere close to here exactly, and we got a bit of a area here around us that is some sort of a resistance, and we are trying to find that support right now. Let's see if that happens or not. Again, we have another peak somewhere between the 17.9 cent and the 18.7 cent. And again, another peak somewhere here. So guys, the way it works is if you're above here and you're trying to go down, you would see that the support would be literally at the other side of that peak right before it gets into a valley. So somewhere here is where you'd find that support. Again, if you keep going down again, same thing, it would be that. So at the moment, we do have some cushion for VeChain, and I wouldn't really think this is usually, if you're looking at something like this, man, look, you're uptrending into a symmetrical wedge. You're expected to break out of it. That's what it is. The market has a bit of a negative sentiment. At the moment, everything is down, not just the crypto market. This is typical for the whole world, and the stock market is doing the same thing. So I wouldn't panic too much yet. I think this is an opportunity for you, unless you bought somewhere all the way at the top, man. 27.9 cents. That's a different thing. But in terms of risk and all that, man, if you want, if you've been trying to buy a VeChain at a good price, this is not financial advice. Again, guys, it's just for your, educational purposes, just to bring it to your attention. This could be a good time to start DCAing into this dollar cost average. So
yeah, no, you're right. We've been making higher lows here, and I got a few things to say about VeChain here. I was in the midst of panic selling until I no, I'm kidding. So folks, there's a few things to keep in mind here. Now, I know there's maybe a lot of lines here, but don't you go freaking out. We're going to explain what this means and what's going on in this picture. All right, so we're forming a trend line here. Bit of a wedge, bit of a descending triangle. We broke out bullishly, all right? But we're breaking down right now. The uptrend seemingly could not be sustained, although we are seeing a kind of micro higher lows, which is good to see. Now, we have a few support levels below us. So we can see here a kind of based off, actually tighten this a bit more. No, actually based off of these wicks, we're constantly finding support around in the same region, around 18.5 cents. We also have volume having a little bit of a peak here at 18, just under about 18.4. Yeah. Folks, looking at the volume profile is extremely helpful for gauging hidden support levels that you might not have anticipated if you're just looking at kind of bare bones price action here. And I like using the volume because it helps serve as a confluence of reasons. So if you have a bunch of wicks reacting off the same area and there's a bunch of volume there, that's just further confirmation that the market is telling you that level right there is important here. So just to finish up, just to wrap up with VeChain. All right, so we're in this ascending channel here. And if we start to break down, I think we're potentially going to retest what has historically been the most important support level for VeChain, that being the 200 EMA on the 6 hour, this thick yellow line. If we zoom out here and look at VeChain's prior price history here, we can see that the 200 EMA on the 6 hour was the most important support level for VeChain. We constantly held it as support every time we had substantial corrections. So It's been quite some time since we've retested it. We're very close to it. So if we continue to see weakness, if we break down from this volume, then retesting this area is perhaps possible. And that has historically been a great buy the dip opportunity. Not financial advice, but historically it's been the best spot to buy into VeChain. So yeah, that's my final thoughts.
No, I agree. It is pretty good spot to buy that dip, and that's what usually happens, guys. So if we're looking at something like this, we can always always try to prepare for the market. Like we hate kind of just reacting to it when it just comes up and like, oh, all of a sudden we're sorry, we're having some sort of a, on the spot, you want to figure out what to do. When we're looking at this every single day, this is Bitcoin right here. So let me just pull up VeChain again. So when we're looking at something like this and you identify those lines, not just for you to create some sort of a, cute pattern on the chart and look like you know your stuff. These lines are there for a reason. These data points are there for a reason. And look, if someone just got into VeChain, let's say, and they're looking at the market and they're well versed with what to do, have some sort of a strategy, you look at something like this, you can easily identify those higher lows that we have. And if we break below this pattern, or if there's so many resources out there on how to identify patterns like this and what they usually mean, mean for the market, and what they usually mean for the traders. And when traders see them, what usually happens in the market. And I can easily identify right up off the bat this level, and this level. So like you were saying, 15.7, 16.8, and 18.4, I believe you said also. Those are the main levels that we are finding buyers try to come in. And once we break below from a pattern like this, it's always the same thing. A break to the bottom is always met with support at these previous levels that this price action had. And if I had, look, I'm just giving a quick example, right? If you wanted to be within this market, this is not telling you, hey, go and invest your money right now, but just as an advice, the way I would go about it. If I just got into VeChain and I'm like, oh man, it's pretty, it's way to the top. At one point, it's all the way down here. It's already up a couple, 500%. What should I do here? You're seeing the market's kind of down. And you start identifying this, it starts to break below. All right, so look, if I had $1,000, I'm probably putting in like 20% when it jumps back down to this level, another 20% when it jumps back to this level. And if it ends up going all the way down here, I'm putting, the remaining 50% or 60%. So that's how you'd go about it in terms of when you're seeing the market go down. That's when you should be putting in your money, not when the market is just having a good day, basically. So you're right, man. I agree.
Yeah, I'll just finish off by saying, look, yeah, folks, you want to chase red candles with projects with strong fundamentals. Not green candles. You don't want to chase pumps. You want to chase dumps. You want to be knife catching out here in a bull run.